Long ago, in a remote village in West Africa, surrounded by thick forests and wide rivers, there lived a young hunter named Kofi, who was known for his bravery and his pride. He was tall and strong, with sharp eyes that could spot an antelope from far away, and his confidence often made him careless. The elders of the village always warned the young men never to enter the deep forest after nightfall, for that was when the spirits known as the Adze were said to wander, shape-shifting creatures that could appear as fireflies to lure people away, then transform into monstrous beings that fed on human blood. But Kofi laughed at such tales, calling them foolish stories meant to frighten children. One evening after a long day of hunting, as the sun set and the red sky bled into darkness, Kofi stayed too long in the bush, chasing after a wounded antelope. The forest grew silent, the drums of the village faded behind him, and only the sound of crickets and rustling leaves surrounded him. He told himself he was not afraid, but deep inside his heart beat faster. As he walked back with his bow on his shoulder, a glowing light appeared ahead, floating softly among the trees. At first, he thought it was just a firefly, but it was brighter and seemed to move with purpose, always staying just ahead of him. Kofi followed it, curious, thinking it might lead him to a path out of the forest. The deeper he went, the darker the woods became, until even the moonlight could not reach him. Suddenly, the glowing lights split into many, a swarm of firefly-like lights circling around him. They moved faster and faster until they formed the shape of a woman standing tall before him, her skin pale like ashes, her eyes glowing red, her hair long and wild. She smiled with sharp teeth and spoke in a voice that was soft but chilling. "Hunter, you are far from home." Kofi froze, realizing the elder's warnings were true, but he forced himself to raise his bow. The spirit laughed, her voice echoing from every direction, and before his arrow could fly, she vanished and reappeared right behind him, her cold hand on his shoulder. Terrified, he ran blindly through the forest, branches tearing his clothes and cutting his skin. He stumbled into a clearing where an old hut stood, covered in moss and vines. Desperate for safety, he rushed inside, but the moment he crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut. Inside the hut were dozens of carved wooden masks hanging on the walls, each painted with wide staring eyes and sharp teeth. The air was heavy with the smell of blood and smoke. As Kofi backed away, the masks began to whisper, their voices low and mocking. Proud hunter, you did not listen." He covered his ears, but the voices grew louder, overlapping, filling his head. Suddenly, one of the masks moved, its wooden mouth opening, and out of it crawled a shadowy figure with long, thin arms and hollow eyes. More figures emerged from the other masks, crawling down the walls like spiders. Kofi screamed and tried to open the door, but it would not budge. The figures surrounded him, their cold hands grabbing his arms and legs. Then the woman of fire reappeared in the center of the hut, her smile wide, her teeth long and sharp. She whispered, "You will feed us tonight." Kofi begged for mercy, promising never to doubt the elders again, but the spirits only laughed. They dragged him down into the earth beneath the hut, his screams echoing until there was silence. By morning, Kofi's bow and broken arrows were found at the edge of the forest, but his body was never seen again. The elders gathered the villagers and told them that Kofi had been taken by the Adze for his arrogance, and his story became a warning. From that day forward, no hunter dared to stay in the forest after sunset. Mothers told their children the tale of Kofi so they would respect the wisdom of the old. And when people saw fireflies glowing too brightly in the darkness, they hurried back home, whispering to each other, "Do not follow the lights, for they are not what they seem."